Welcome to the next video in the Patterns in Nature topic. This video is looking at the dot point, identify mitosis as a process of nuclear division and explain its role. So we may have come across the term mitosis in junior science before, having a look at how we produce new cells when old cells are either damaged, dead, or during periods of growth. So what we need to do is have a look at it in terms of being a process of nuclear division, so dividing of the nucleus, and then look at the role. So explain the role of mitosis. So first off, let's have a look at the process of mitosis to get an understanding that it is a division of the nucleus and the information that's inside it. So mitosis is the process whereby the DNA within the cell replicates, so becomes twice as much, and then divides to return back to the original number in order to produce two identical daughter cells. So the cell that we start with is known as the parent cell, and the two daughter cells that are created are identical to each other and also identical to the parent cell. So we have no variation taking place here, just one cell making two cells, then two cells making four cells, all the same. So there are four phases of mitosis. So they are known as prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. And a way to remember them is to get the idea of PMAT into your head. There is also a phase before mitosis, which is known as interphase, and this is the resting phase of the cell. And in this phase, the DNA replicates. So we go from if we're looking at human cells, for example, we go from 46 chromosomes, to 92. And then during the process of mitosis, that gets halved again to 46. And then after mitosis, cytokinesis is the final process where the cytoplasm divides. So let's have a look at these steps and what exactly is happening at each one. So as I said, we start with interphase. Now, interphase technically isn't a step of mitosis, but it needs to happen before mitosis can take place. So during this phase, the DNA replicates, ready for mitosis to take place. So as I said, we go from 46 chromosomes in our parent cell, and we double that to 92. Then we start the process of mitosis with prophase. During prophase, the nuclear membrane, so that's the membrane around the DNA in the nucleus, begins to disappear. And we have these structures called centrioles appear at the ends of the cells, and spindle fibers form. So at the moment, they're just forming. They don't really do anything until we move on a couple of more phases. After prophase, we have metaphase. In this phase, the chromosomes, so they're double-stranded because they've replicated in interphase, line up along the middle of the cell. What actually happens is the spindle fibers reach out from the centrioles and attach themselves to the centromeres. The centromeres are the part of the chromosome, the double-stranded chromosome that holds the two, what we call sister chromatids together, which give us that X shape. So that little bulge in the middle, that little circular structure in the middle would be our centromere, and our double-stranded chromosomes are attached at the centromere. So the way to remember what happens in metaphase, as we can see, our chromosomes line up in the middle. So metaphase, middle, easy peasy. Then we move on to anaphase. So during this phase, the spindle fibers then pull the sister chromatids apart. So still at the centromere, but pull only one strand of the chromosomes, which we call sister chromatids, away from each other towards the opposite ends of the cell. So just like metaphase, middle, the way we can remember what happens in anaphase is in anaphase, the sister chromatids move away. So A and A. The last phase that we have in mitosis is telophase. So in this phase, the sister chromatids end up at the opposite ends of the cell, and we have two nuclear membranes begin to form around the sister chromatids, which obviously is our DNA, in preparation to form two brand new cells. So the red phases here, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, are mitosis, interphase beforehand, and as we said earlier, the very last phase is cytokinesis. So at this point, the cytoplasm divides in order to create two cells. The cell membrane pinches in, and in an animal cell, that should say plant cells, sorry, a cell wall plate appears between the two nuclei. Okay, so obviously cytokinesis in plant cells and animal cells is a little bit different. So, but basically we just need to know at this point that cytokinesis is that splitting into our two cells. So we have interphase where DNA replicates, prophase where our nuclear membrane dissolves and we get ready for all to move around, metaphase in the middle, anaphase move away, telophase we're starting to form two new cells by forming the two new nuclear membrane, and then cytokinesis is that final split, the final division of the cytoplasm and the creation of our two new cells that are identical to our parent cells. So here we can see the phases and the relative time that cells are in each of those different phases. So we can see that majority of the time, the cells will be in that interphase, that resting phase, where the DNA is replicating and getting itself ready for the process of mitosis. As we said, mitosis consists of prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase, or PMAT, as we've got at the bottom. And then the final stage is cytokinesis, which is a fairly short stage before the two new cells, are then ready to undergo mitosis by spending some time in that interphase before they reach prophase again. So the big thing to remember, however, is just those 4 phases are mitosis. Okay, interphase is before, cytokinesis is after, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase are our phases of mitosis. So the last thing we need to do is explain the role of mitosis. So why does mitosis take place? Cause and effect, because we haven't explained. So the type of cell division that happens here in mitosis is used for growth and for asexual reproduction. So as we know, all bacteria cells start as one cell. They don't require a sexual partner in order to reproduce. They simply undergo the process of mitosis, and bacteria from one cell creates 2 cells. 2 cells create 4 cells. 4 create 8. And with most bacteria, they reproduce extremely rapidly. So we can start off with one bacterial cell, and within a few hours, we can have millions. And that's how people get sick very quickly with bacterial infections, because that bacteria can reproduce so quickly on its own simply by the process of mitosis. Mitosis is also used for growth. So obviously, if an organism needs to get bigger, it needs to produce more of the same cells. So during childhood in humans, mitosis takes place quite a lot in our bones, in our muscles, in our skin, in order to produce more of those organs. So we can obviously get taller, get bigger, grow longer hair, get stronger muscles, etc. Mitosis is also used in the repair or replacement of damaged or dead cells. Every day we are constantly losing cells, especially skin cells. They get flaked off simply when you're getting dressed, because they regenerate so quickly. So new skin cells are being created underneath the surface of our skin, and basically they push the dead skin cells out of the way. So majority of the dust in your house, which is pretty gross to think, is actually made up of dead skin cells of the people that you live with. Okay, so mitosis occurs whenever and wherever we need to create new cells. So as I said, majority of the time mitosis will take place more during periods of growth, obviously like during childhood, puberty, etc. And then if you injure yourself, mitosis will take place in that site of injury in order to repair the damaged cells or replace them if they're lost. So the main aim is to produce 2 cells that are identical to each other and identical to the parent cell. So they carry out exactly the same function because the DNA is exactly the same. So the explanation, the role of mitosis, the cause is to the cause is to produce 2 cells that are identical to each other and the parent cell, which brings about the effect of replacing or repairing cells or being able to be used for growth and asexual reproduction. And that brings us to the end of this video, and thank you for watching.